Talk about Congress's agenda. House Democratic Whip Steny Hoyer, and we're thrilled to see him here this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Morning. Good to be with you.
I want to get to a number of issues, but I want to just ask you one question about what Tim Geithner said yesterday at this conference about what he called the erosion of the Pragmatic Center. And I believe that that is not just a reference to the Republican side, but also to the Democratic side. What do you make of that?
Well, I think he's right, number one. Number two, while it perhaps applies to both sides, let me tell you, we don't have a group like the Freedom Caucus of about 45 people who say my way or no way. We just don't have that. I'm the whip. I've got to get votes. And on votes where pragmatism needs to prevail, frankly, there's not a member of my caucus that I can't go to. Now, they may say, gee, I don't like this. It doesn't go far enough, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't have anybody like the Freedom Caucus that says, I will never compromise. I will do it my way or I will do it no way. That's the problem Boehner had. That's why he left. That's the problem that Paul Ryan has had. That's why they haven't passed their appropriation bills or a budget. Okay. So I agree with him. That's the problem. But I don't think it's as much on our side. Is that a problem from time to time? It is, but not as a consistent problem that confronts either our caucus or our party.
Let's talk about then the compromise that may need to happen to get some of these things through in the next couple of months. A couple of things on the list. We can talk big bore. Maybe there's a small bore or big bore. I don't know what you think it is. I want to talk Zika for a second, because you've said $1.1 billion for Zika was too low to be effective. And instead, you pushed for $1.9 billion. But at this point, what is the chance that anything's going to happen?
Well, first of all, I don't think I ever said that $1.1 billion was not a good start. President asked for $1.9 billion. That's what NIH and CDC, who are responsible for addressing the Zika, say is necessary. But $1.1 billion is a good start. 68 members of the Senate, in a bipartisan way, passed us a bill that gave $1.1 billion to the administration, at least to start and make a significant headway on fighting the Zika crisis. That's being held hostage, however, to Republican base issues. We should have passed the Senate bill. We haven't passed the Senate bill. We're now 5 months, 6 months after the president asked for the money. We know the crisis has gotten bigger, and the Republicans have not acted. I would hope they would put the bill on the floor that the Senate passed over 1 million.
Is this a clean bill at this point? A clean bill? Nothing extraneous?
The Senate bill is a clean bill, yes. And we ought to pass it. And we can pass it. It has the votes on the House floor. I guarantee you, if Paul Ryan and McCarthy would put the Senate bill on the floor, every Democrat would vote for it, and I'm sure a significant number of Republicans who are responsible, understand the crisis, understand the need to act, that we'd have the votes.
Well, Congressman, yeah, I mean, listen, I think if we put a Republican on, he or she would probably say the same about you guys, because it seems like every time we talk about anything, it's pointing a finger at the other party. I mean, in your first answer, you slam the Republicans in your first sentence.
Yeah, but John Boehner did, too, when he resigned.
I agree with that, sir, but don't you think that type of rhetoric just inflames things further?
No, I said Geithner was right. We needed more pragmatism. I said on my side of the aisle, I think we have pragmatism. On their side of the aisle, they have a group of 45 to 50 people, the Freedom Caucus, who their own caucus will tell you are not pragmatic. And Boehner resigned, not because he was going to be kicked out by his party. I think he had probably 200 votes to keep him as the Speaker. But he was just tired of dealing with people who said, no, 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 we won't do it any way but our way.
Agreed. So, and I don't know everything the Freedom Caucus stands for. Thank God I only wade into politics once in a while, sir. But those people, I assume, believe that what they feel is right. You may not agree, and many Republicans may not agree, and many of our viewers may not agree. But I'm assuming they feel what they believe is right. You believe what you believe is right. How do we just start working together, even with wildly different opinions? Because through the history of this country, sir, we have had people with wildly different opinions, and somehow things still got done.
Your premise is incorrect. In fact,
that we've never had different views in this country? Which one?
No, of course not. But that we haven't worked together. In fact, when Nancy Pelosi and I were Speaker and Majority Leader, we did a number of things with George Bush. in a pragmatic, compromising way. President Bush would tell you that. Don't make the analogy.
No, that was actually, you actually
elected...
made my point, sir, for me. I mean, we agreed, actually, which is throughout the history of this country for 200-some years, we have been able to get things done despite wildly different opinions. What's changed in the last 4 or 5 or 6 years where it just seems like everybody is so angry that nothing's getting done?
Well, there's no doubt that people are angry, and you saw that in the primary election. Very frankly, I tell people around this country, if you will vote for people who are prepared to come together and work together, then you will have a Congress. Democracy works, and if the people demand that, it will happen. Right. The problem is, frankly, when Mitch McConnell said, and when asked 8 years ago, 7.5 years ago, what's your principal objective in this Congress, he said to make sure that Obama is not president for a second term. Well, he failed in that objective. But if that's your objective, not creating jobs, not getting the economy moving, not fiscal responsibility, not making sure that we're strong across the world, not making sure that a Zika piece of legislation passes, and hold it hostage to your own issues, when the Senate, 68-30, Republicans and Democrats came together, passed a piece of legislation, overwhelmingly more than 2/3 vote, put that on the floor. The reason they don't put it on the floor is because their hardliners don't want it on the floor.